Hi, I'm Janet Bailey. I'm a retail designer in Brisbane and I love talking about anything retail related. And I've got a great friend in Melbourne who loves the same.
And my name's Debra Templar, and I'm a retail strategist. And I could talk retail all day with Janet.
Thanks, Deb. Yes.
What's been
Okay.
going on? What's caught your fancy?
Well, there've been a couple of things, but probably the really big one that's caught my eye, and this is also coming from a personal story from one of my clients, and it's then got me looking into this further, is you and I often talk about supply and
Mm,
supply chains and delivery, et cetera, et cetera. So this client has some wash basin chairs that are coming into Australia, but we're now on our third stock delay. And as a result, it's because they're on a ship, and the problem is that at the moment, one of the main shipping avenues in the world has been kind of closed. It's the Suez Canal, and it's closed by the Houthis who have been pirating onto freighting ships. So most of the major shipping companies around the world are now advising all their ships to go around the Cape of Good Hope in Africa. It's adding about 3 to 4 weeks onto the time that it takes, and it's also adding 6,000 nautical miles. But it's also got then the follow-on implications that it's tying up containers, whereas usually shipping containers would have come back to port or to the manufacturer by now to be refilled. They haven't yet because they're still sitting on ships getting to their destination. And it also means that obviously fuel costs have increased for all those ships. So if you start looking through all the websites for all the major container companies, they've all put on surplus taxes and variations of ways to try to recover these costs. But look, it's not just shipping in general. You've got your own stories, haven't you, of what you've seen?
yeah, absolutely. I've certainly had with retailers a couple of things. They go to the gift fairs, they order, and people say, "Oh, it's on the way." So, and of course, it's getting tied up. So, I've been saying to them, the question you ask every supplier is, do you have it here? Is it here in Australia in your warehouse, or is it on the way? So that you know what you're looking at. But I noticed this week that we've got a group of restaurants here. I think they've got two or three at the moment. And they're due to open their next one. I think it's this weekend. And of course, they've gone and organised their chairs from Marrakesh or Morocco or somewhere. So they're putting out this cry of help, help, help. We've got our chairs, they're sitting in customs and we can't get them out. Can anyone help? So there's
Oh,
delays even once they land here as to
yes.
then getting your stuff out.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
horrible.
I know. And I think where you mentioned the gift fair, that's something that I've experienced firsthand myself, is that you go to these amazing trade fairs and you see really nice, interesting, cutting edge new product. And you
Yeah.
think, oh, I'd love to stock that. I'd love to order that in. And exactly what you said, it's not being told to you that there could still be a 3 or 4 month wait.
Yeah.
And that's the problem because they've given you a taste, they've teased you. You've then got clients or a customer base for your shop that you want to bring this product to. And at the end of the day, it's being held up. I think during COVID, we certainly saw things happening, which not all of it was COVID related. We saw the Suez was it the Suez or the Panama got blocked? I think Suez, wasn't it? Yes.
It was
By
sewers.
the
Yeah,
ship.
it was sewers.
Yeah, yeah. So, it taught us a lot of things, that things can happen very quickly that can affect your trading over here in Australia or any other country. But, just because we're also interconnected nowadays.
Absolutely, and because COVID, one of the big things was, Shanghai, when Shanghai was locked down and
Yes.
all those ships just sitting there, not going anywhere, was horrific. I've got to say that, a couple of my clients, when they were telling me they were going to the last lot of trade fairs, I said, "Now make sure you ask that question," and 2 have gotten back to me and said, "Thank God you told me about that. I asked it to everyone." And there was so many that if they hadn't asked, they wouldn't have been told.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
And I think as consumers, we can often, as a consumer, there's a high expectation that if you go to a shopping center or into a shop, that if you're specifically after something, you'll be able to walk out with it. But as a shop stockist, if your stock is getting low, or that you need something quickly, that's where the problems and the delays are happening. And it's great for having all these huge massive dispatch warehouses, but if things are stuck on ships and in transit, it's just not
Mm,
helping you. So
exactly right.
a lot of a lot of shops are now having to carry extra contingency stock so
Mm,
that they don't get caught.
mm, absolutely.
Yeah. And the other thing that I saw during this when I was looking into it was that the Panama now is also having issues with getting ships through because they're actually having a huge drought over there in South America. So it's affecting the water levels and how they pump and use their how they pump the canal out and use their different heights to move the ships through. So that's affecting them, and they can put through less ships because of that drought. But you brought up an interesting thing about China and Shanghai. So my big question, which I haven't quite been able to get answered by researching this, is, China spent 10 years building that Belt and Rail system, or, whatever name
Yeah,
they
yeah.
use for it. How is that not helping the shipping issue at the moment? Why, when we've got so much product being manufactured in China, why are they not stepping in now and utilizing that enough?
Don't know. Don't know. And I know the Shanghai thing was in COVID when it was locked down. So I
Yes.
don't know what has happened since. Of course, the um, Chinese economy is in a state of flux at the moment as well. So
Yeah.
that's going to impact all of us too.
Yeah, I think that's a whole other topic for another
Yeah,
day.
I think so. I think it's another day.
That's a big topic too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think I've told you the story about how I chased my couriers please person up the road one day. I spent 4 weeks getting a parcel from your part of Australia, Melbourne, up to Brisbane. Fortunately, it was my own personal shopping. It was a winter coat that I'd ordered during summer, and there's a lot of aspects to the supply chain. It's not just the freighters, and it's not just that whole massive world scale. It's what's happening in your own regional, with your own supplier of the delivery van, the franchise owner of the Couriers Please van, or whatever company it's coming with. I didn't know who this jacket was going to be sent with when I, you know, ordered it online. And I got the standard card in the mailbox to say no one was home. There were actually four of us home at that very day, but he obviously just couldn't be bothered coming in and knocking on the door. And so then I said, okay, resend it again, tick my box online. And it was still another 2.5 weeks. It was actually one day that I saw him drive past that flash of yellow through my window, and I hopped in my own car and chased him up the road until he stopped at someone else. I said, here's my consignment number. Can I please have my delivery? So,
Aside from the fact you'd look like a mad woman,
yeah, I was very aware of that.
good on you. Good on you.
Yeah,
It's interesting too, like as a side note, I've noticed that I think it's uh, some government bodies now looking into the Mosaic brands, which is the Rivers and etc.
yeah,
They're taking too long to fulfil online orders. Of course, they're denying it, but
yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what comes out from that as well. Because
Yeah, I've seen those headlines going through, and I think to a degree it's, where is the problem happening? Is it necessarily with them, or is it like in my case where the delivery companies are just shocking, and the product's been dispatched, but you're waiting at your end to get it? Where exactly is the problem happening?
that's it. Find
Mm.
out where the problem is and fix it.
Yeah, it's not just I think that's for the government to be stepping in and saying that it's a bit too much of a broad brush, where specifically they need to nut this down. But yeah.
Well, there are a few things the government sort of needs to stop broad brushing on. Hey,
Yeah, Deb, look, I don't know how this can improve. I think there's just so many cogs to this wheel that it's easy for one thing to go wrong somewhere and have that long-term effect. And Yeah, I mean, I guess if you look back, our logistics of shipping are getting a lot better and dispatch centers are amazing nowadays. But I think it's very often that human aspect that gets in the way. But
Mm.
please don't replace us with robots. Anyway, I think that that's probably enough said about shipping and supply chains for now. So
Righto.
yeah, okay. Well, we'll catch up for a chat next time.
Look forward to it.
Okay, thanks. Bye.